Hi everyone! In this opportunity, I'm going to talk about two topics that are really crucial in the process of learning, which are the behaviorist approach and the native theory. Let's start with the behaviorist approach. This is a systematic approach to the understanding of human and animal behaviors. It assumes that all behaviors are either reflex or produced by a response to um, certain stimulus or a consequence of that individual history, including special reinforcement and punishment. This approach is divided into important classifications, which are the classical conditioning and operant conditioning. The classical condition was developed by John Watson and Ivan Pavlov. This is about stimulus and response. Now we have the operant condition. This was developed by Frederick Skinner, and this is about reinforcement and punishment. Um, Now, have you ever accidentally touched a hot pan in your handbag? In response, well, let me tell you that that is a great example of a stimulus and response. Well, now, operant condition. This involves changes voluntary behavior. Behavior is followed by either reinforcement or punishment. If we reinforce, the behavior will increase. But if we punishment, the behavior will decrease. Well, this is all for the behaviorist approach. I hope you could understand everything I said. Now let's continue with the second topic, that is the nativist approach or the nativist theory. This was put forward by Noam Chomsky, but you may wonder what is the nativist approach? This is the idea that people have an innate capacity to acquire a language. And as I said, this was put forward by John Chomsky, but what did Noam Chomsky believe? He believes that human brains possess a device inside their respective brains, and this is called language acquisition device. This theory came about as children have been observed to pick up grammar and syntax without any formal learning. And this is just about how children start saying their first word just by hearing in the environment. And now, well, with this, I finish my presentation, and I hope you like my video, and see you soon.
Now, I am going to talk about two topics very interesting. The first topic is the cognitive approach. In psychology, is a relative modern approach to human behavior that focuses on how we think. It's assumed that our thoughts, processes affects the way in which we behave. The approach came about in part due to dissatisfaction with the behavior we thought. Understand the internal processes that create it. It is based on the principle our behavior is generate a series of stimulus and responses to this by thought process. When we apply a cognitive approach to learning and teaching, we focus on the understanding of information and concepts. If we are able to understand the connection between concepts, break down the information, and with logical connection and retention of material, understanding will increase. Other psychology approach focus on different components of human activity. Behaviorist focuses the examination and analysis of objectively observable and quantifiable behavior events. Those who favor the humanist approach focus on the individual relation to their environment, human welfare, and values. Some examples of cognitive approach are the first is the attention. Sometimes our cognitive processing system get overloaded and we have to select information to process further. The second one example is the formation and of concepts.
Yeah.
This aspect studies human ability to organize experience into categories. And the second one example is the language processing. This is the study of how language is acquired, comprehended, and processed. And finally, the learning. This is the study of cognitive or conceptual information. Now I am going to talk about the second topic. It is about the functional approach. What is the functional approach? It's considered to be the second paradigm of psychology. This idea focuses on the functional of the mental processes which involves consumers. In second language acquisition, functional approach are of similarities with Chomsky. Universal grammar focus is on the use of language in real situations, performance, as well as underlies the knowledge. In this approach, William James James reasoned that the mental act of consciousness must be an important biological function, which are characterized as functional differ in emphasis and definition, but share the following characteristics in general opposition to those into Chomsky tradition. Four of the functional approaches which have been influential in second language acquisition are systemic linguistic, functional typology, functional to form mapping, and the information organization. This is all for this topic. Thank you.
The topic is competence and performance. These two aspects should not be confused with the competence and performance distinction. They are aspects about performance and competence. Well, competence refers to one's underlying knowledge of a system, event, or facts, something to perform something. Competence is a term used in linguistic theory, especially in generative grammar, to refer to person knowledge of his language, this system of rule with a language user has mastered, so that it will be possible for the user to be able to produce and understand and identify number of sentences and recognize grammatical mistake and ambiguity. Competence is said to be an individualist conception of language which is seen in opposition to the notion performance, which refers to the specific otherness of speech. Competence, according to Chomsky, has been used as a reaction to the linguistic era before generative grammars, which was held a copy with performance in forms of course of date. The aim set by the transformation today requires behavior that especially set by any previous group of linguistics. Even adults understand more vocabulary than they ever use in speech and also perceive more systematic variation than they actually produce. Well, comprehension and production. Comprehension, the ability to understand completely and be familiar with a situation or facts. It means this ability helps us to communicate clearer, giving and getting information as well. Also, we can say that when we are capable to get the main idea, we are using this ability known as comprehension. Well, production is an action of making or produce an information clearer and giving an information clearer and understand. And thank you.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about four contents. One is innate, universal, and the other one is language and thought. What we can learn from innate is that innate is predetermined. We are born with it and no one can take it away from us. Universal, basically what it is, it's a language that is acquired by children throughout the world. It's a language that we can learn. It's by the way of learning. Everyone can learn it, and it's all the same everywhere, in China, in El Salvador, Europe, everywhere. That's about it for those two items. Language. Chunky claims that language is not learned. He claims that language is inherited. For example, it's really easy for little kids or children to learn a second language or a first language, whereas older people, it's really hard for them to do so. Thought is a process of thinking. It's the way that children act and want to express their feelings. Thought is also the way that the process of thinking that the adults have in order for them to express themselves. That is all for this video, and thanks for watching this video.